Well, it's the start of another month, so it's time to take a look at some Hoyas that are celebrating anniversaries during the month of October. Join me with a tasty beverage of your choice close to hand while we take a look at 1 and 4-year Hoya updates. And as usual, before we get started, I'm happy to take this opportunity to send out a special thank you to Beata, who sent me a super thanks, and to Leslie, Tamra, Amber, Utah the Walamute, Shirley C., and Maggie, who bought me coffees recently, and to Loida, who signed up to buy me coffees every month. Your support for my channel is greatly appreciated and means very much to me and helps keep me in Hoyas and Discidias, technology and infrastructure. So thank you very much for your support. And we've got a couple things in bloom or ready to start blooming. And the first one up is my Hoya spectatissima. And let's see if I can get this to show up nicely for you. It's a very pretty plant. Pretty blooms, pretty plant. It reminds me a bit of Hoya Lee. Let's see if there's a scent. There's a very, it's late afternoon, so the scent may not be to full strength yet. It's a very light scent, almost like a really fine soap. It's fresh. It's not heavy or cloying. It's just got a very, very nice scent. Yeah, it's just I like this plant. This has done very well for me. It's thirsty. It likes its sun. The leaves are thick, slightly pubescent, some raised veins on top. Like I said, it looks very much like Hoya Lee. And yeah, this is very cool. This one started blooming right away when I got it a year ago. And if I keep up with my end of the bargain about water and stuff like that, it keeps up with his. So yeah, this is very cool. This is Hoya spectatissima. And next on the list, let me put this one aside, because I think this next one's going to take 2 hands. And this is, oh goodness, my Hoya Griffithii. Now, Griffithii is one of those plants I think that should come with a warning label because it's a monster. It grows so readily. It's beautiful, very cool. The leaves are lanceolate with a good amount of splash in them, and it's getting ready to bloom. And hopefully it will bloom before this is edited, and you get to see some photos. But I have peduncle here, 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 here. So there's 4 that are all set to go, and I would expect in the next day or 2 it will start popping. So that's very cool. Once this one got established, it grows like a monster. It is so top heavy right now that, yeah, it's very cool. Beautiful, beautiful foliage. And yeah, it needs some attention. So we've got some really long vines. This is very cool. This is Hoya Griffithii. And the first Hoya celebrating its first year here is my Hoya mindorensis. Now, Hoya mindorensis is native to Indonesia, province of Kalimantan, to Sarawak and Sabah in Malaysia, and to the Philippines. It was first published in 1906 in the Philippine Journal of Science by Friedrich Richard Rudolf Schlechter, and it's named for the Mindoro province in the Philippines. This has done, I think, pretty well for me. I should have a picture over here of what it looked like when it first arrived, if I was being attentive and doing what I'm supposed to do. And so that's a good amount of growth for a year. It hasn't bloomed yet. It has branched and is putting out these very neat leaves. They have a slightly recessed central rib and slightly recessed side ribs. The older leaves are firm. There's no bend in knees. There's none of that stupid thing. They're on the thinnish side. The vine is kind of thin, so I don't assume that this plant holds a lot of moisture. And it seems to want access to a regular supply. Let's see how we're doing. Oh yeah, roots have found the reservoir, and so it's just plugging right along. This variety is known as Purple Star, and from the top, it's a very nice looking plant, the way the leaves have settled in. I need to move it to an optimistic trellis. This was a make-do trellis that is no longer making do. So yeah, we're gonna have to work on this one a little bit, but it's doing well. I'm happy with it. Blossoms would be very cool. I'm looking for peduncles. I don't see any yet. So, well, what's that? Well, who knows? Anyway, this is done really well. I'm happy with it. It's presented no problems, no drama, no trauma. It was a little sluggish on the get-go, but then, then it just started growing. I've got it in my standard organic mix of cocoa husk chunks, fine bark, pumice, and long fiber sphagnum in a self-watering pot. And it's doing okay. So yeah, we're pleased with this one. This one came from Plant Haven, Toronto on their website. And this is Hoya mindorensis. And the next here for a year Hoya is one that I'm really glad I got. This is Hoya amicabilis. Now, amicabilis is native to Java, Central Java specifically in Indonesia, to Purworejo. I hope I pronounced that even close. It was first collected in 2017 by Misbahul Munir and was published in 2019 in the Nordic Journal of Botany by Sri Rahayu and Michaela Rhoda. And the name amicabilis comes from the Latin amicabiliter interventus, which means friendly intervention. And it was named in honor of social media because botanists are using that more and more, not only to track their locations, but to share information and get confirmation very, very quickly. And this is a gorgeous little plant. Those leaves are just beautiful. The leaves tick all my boxes. They're dark green. They start off a little rumpled, but then smooth out as time goes by. Lots of splash, and this is a ready and steady bloomer. I have had no trouble with this. So this one bloomed, I would say, within the first 4 months. It does very, very well. It's in pond and self-watering, and the roots have found the reservoir. And it's a really pretty one. I have to replace this trellis. This again was a make-do trellis. Otherwise it just gets very horizontal and I don't have room for that. But it's presented no difficulties. I think it's just gorgeous. There's new leaves coming in on the tip there. 3 peduncles getting ready to go. 4 peduncles. There's another one down in there. And as long as I keep it well watered, it does fine. It's growing underneath probably 60 centimeters, 2 feet. Let's see if that's right. I've been guessing at that number. 2 feet is about 60 centimeters. Okay. Underneath a grow light, it gets a little bit of protection from some of the other plants nearby, but it's been It's just been doing well. It's very pretty, very graceful. Reminds me a bit of Decipuli and multiflora in its growth pattern. But yeah, very nice. The blossoms are these yellow bell-shaped. And I should have had pictures up here long before now of that, but if I didn't, here they are. This is done well. No trouble, no problems. The leaves are, once they settle in, are fairly firm, a slightly raised central rib. Like I said, a dark green color and lots of splash. This one's very, very pretty. Very pretty. That just works for me. Yeah, this one's been good. Glad I got it. Really glad I got it. This one also came from Plant Haven Toronto on their website, and this is Hoya amicabilis. And the next little guy is also here for a year, and this is Hoya mamasa. Now, Hoya mamasa is native to West Sulawesi in Indonesia, near the town of Mamasa. I would guess that's why it got named like that. It was first collected in 2020 and published in 2022 in Gardens Bulletin by Sri Rahayu, Roland Putra Pribadi Ahmad, and Michaela Rhoda. And this came as a tiny little cutting. I should have pictures of it over here of what it looked like when it first arrived. And it didn't do much for a while. And then it decided it was happy here and really started pushing out the growth. This is probably just over maybe 30, 35 centimeters, maybe 14 inches or so. The leaves are very small, and I should have close-ups of the leaves. Glossy on top. They feel smooth on the bottom, but it's tough to tell when they're that small. But it's done very well. It just poked around for a little bit and then shot right up, and yeah, it's doing quite well. I may have to give this an optimistic trellis in the near future to keep it going, but yeah, I'm fairly well pleased with that. Yeah, from starting off with a very pokey, slow-moving cutting to doing that in a year, I'm okay. I'm okay. Neat little leaves. Yeah, nothing to complain about other than a little bit of a slow start. It's in pond and self-watering, and could that be a root? That could be a root. So the roots have gotten toward the bottom of the pot. So yeah, it's doing well. I'm happy about this one. This one came from TQ Hoyas on Etsy, and this is Hoya mamasa. Another year resident is Hoya paradisia NS110159. Now, Hoya paradisia, this particular clone, was found in Papua New Guinea in the western province along the Black River near Dahamo village. It was first collected in 2018 by Nathaniel Simonson and F. Juhonue, who I believe is her spouse, and I haven't been able to find the first name, but I'm looking for it. And it was published in 2022 in Blumea, Tijdschrift voor de Systematiek en Geografie der Planten, or a Journal of Plant Taxonomy and Plant Geography, and it was published by Nathaniel Simonson and Michaela Rhoda. And the name refers to the paradise forests, which is the term used for the jungles of New Guinea, that they are so unexplored and untouched, and there's such a vast wealth of life in those rainforests that we've only just begun to discover. So that's where the name came from. I particularly wanted this clone because I really like those leaves. I love the shape of those leaves. They're very, very pretty. They have a slightly recessed central rib and raised veins on the outer edges. It's a very long lanceolate leaf with very nice texture. And I have some close-ups of the leaves. And I should also, at some point, have a picture of what this looked like when it first arrived. And I'll put that over here on the side too. But yeah, the blossoms on this plant are supposed to be very, very pretty. And it has not bloomed for me yet, but it seems to have settled in and is doing fairly well. You know, I'm okay with that. I think I'm going to move it to just slightly higher light. It has been living in the fallout, excuse me, in front of one of my grow shelves, and it gets a little shade from the Decipule. So we're going to move it a little bit closer so it gets a little bit more light. I think it would appreciate that. Not much, because the leaves are dark, so it probably doesn't want a lot of strong light, but a little bit more probably would help it along. So yeah, this one's done really well. I'm pleased with 1 year's growth. I think there are early leaves all along this vine, so I think it's just about to set off on a little growth spurt. So keep fingers crossed on that one. This one also came from TQ Hoyas on Etsy, and this is Hoya paradisia NS110159. And also celebrating a 1-year anniversary is my Hoya hippolezia. Now, Hoya hippolezia is native to Papua New Guinea. It was first discovered by Westerners in 1908 and published in 1913 in the Botanische Jahrbucher für Systematik, Pflanzengeschichte und Pflanzengeographie by Friedrich Richard Rudolf Schlechter. And I ordered this one because of the leaf shape. I thought that was very, very pretty, and I'm not at all disappointed. What I didn't know about is how fuzzy they are. It's like the underside of a globulosa. It's that kind of fuzzy on the top and on the bottom of the leaves. The leaves have a slightly recessed central rib that's a bit lighter in color than the other veins. The original leaves that it came with measured at 2.5 or a little over, almost 6.5 centimeters, but the new leaves that are coming in are measuring just about 4 inches or 10 centimeters. So it's putting out some good-sized leaves. I don't think it'll show up as to just how fuzzy they are. So I should have pictures over on the side here of close-ups, and they're furry little demons. They almost feel delicate. The leaves are on the lower end of firm. There's some dimpling, let's say dimpling instead, on the leaves themselves. This one is supposed to have beautiful blooms, which is the other reason I ordered it. Because when you get really neat leaves and gorgeous blooms, you know, what's not to like? And this is probably 2 feet or about 60 centimeters worth of growth going around this trellis. So yeah, it's currently living on one of the shorter shelves of a grow setup. So the grow light is probably about here. It seems to like that little bit of extra light, But if it keeps growing like this, it's going to need a new trellis, and it's going to have to find a different home. These leaves are just amazing. Just amazing. It's like really, really nice. It's not long, velvety fur. It's kind of short, but yeah, it's very cool. This one, once it got settled in, has given me no problems whatsoever. It's growing pretty well. I'm happy with what it's done in a year. So yeah, we're pretty pleased with this one. This one came from Rare Herbs Garden NJ on Etsy, and this is Hoya Hippalasia. Last one here for a year is my Hoya brassii. Now, Hoya brassii is native to New Guinea, the western province along the Palmer River, and it was first collected in 1936 by Leonard John Brass, but not published until 2017 in Gardens Bulletin by Paul Irwin Forrest and David J. Little originally, but then was republished by Nathaniel Simonson and Michaela Rhoda to fill in some of the missing information. And it was named after Leonard John Brass, who was an Australian botanist who collected the original specimen in 1936 on the Fly River expedition of the American Museum of Natural History. And yeah, this, as you can tell, I was on something of a lancelet leaf kick about a year ago. And the original leaves it showed up with were like that size. And I thought, well, that's kind of neat. Those are pretty. And then very soon after that, it started putting out these. So the original leaves measured in the 2-inch or 5¼ centimeter range. The new leaves from petiole to tip are measuring 5½ or 14 centimeters. And I think those are just beautiful. I think that's very pretty. I should have a picture of what it looked like when it first arrived over here on the side. And yeah, the leaves have a slightly recessed central rib and slightly raised veins on each side. They are flexible. They've got some bend to them, even the original leaves. So they're not firm, maybe on the lower end of firm. It's putting out some new growth, new leaves in there. They're very cool. This one has branched a couple of times. There's a branch here. And then where did I see the other one? Of course, I can't find it now, but it has branched a couple of times. I think those leaves are just great. I think that's very, very pretty. And yeah, I'm happy with the growth for a year. This is probably at least 36 inches going around a few times, or 90 centimeters, somewhere in that range. And I just like, oh, yes, that's very, very cool. I really, really like these. This is growing under grow lights, so they're about, a couple inches, maybe like 15 centimeters. What is that? From the top of this trellis. And for right now, that's working okay. I think I would describe the leaves as a medium green, not a dark green. So it might be happy under that light for quite some time. We're gonna see. But yeah, I'm another one I'm glad I bought. This has turned into something kind of fun. Not exactly what I expected, but I'm not disappointed. So yeah, this one also came from Rare Herbs Garden NJ on Etsy, and this is Hoya brassii. These next guys have been here 4 years, possibly more, but I didn't really start serious record keeping until around then. So the first one up is Hoya finlaysonii. Now, Hoya finlaysonii is native to Brunei, to Kalimantan and Sumatra in Indonesia, to Malaya, Sabah, and Sarawak in Malaysia, and to Singapore and to Thailand. And this was one of my first forays into an exotic Hoya, something sexy and different with lots of veining and lots of neat leaves. And I counted it as 4 years ago, but it's actually older than that. So yeah, we've been hanging out for quite a while. And hanging out was pretty much all it did for a long time. But it has decided to put out a peduncle in there, and it's growing. I think perhaps it could use slightly less light. I'm finding that's true with a lot of my Hoyas. They don't want as much light as I thought they did. And they seem to do, well, when you give them lower light, the leaves tend to get a little bit darker in color, and the leaves also tend to come in larger. There's probably a scientific explanation for all that. And I don't know what it is, but that just seems to be the case. The leaves are gorgeous. Beautiful veins, beautiful color. They are rigid. This is credit card rigid, all of them. That one's still got some flex to it, but they're just rigid. They will snap if you try and bend them. So we don't do that thing. They're very beautiful. There's the veining tends to be slightly raised, and it's darker than, as you've seen, the rest of the leaf. They're just really neat. I have two other varieties of finlaysonii. This one has been the pokey grower. As I said, for a long time, it just sat there and stared at me and didn't do much of anything. And it's only recently, within the last year or so, maybe year and a half, the roots have found the edge of the inner pot. I have this growing in pond and a self-watering pot, and it seems to be doing okay. But this particular plant is a little pokey. It has branched, so it's doing okay. I probably don't have pictures of what it looked like when it first arrived because I wasn't being real careful about that then. And I was so nervous about it. I was sure I was going to kill this plant. And this one's actually tougher than I expected. So yeah, this one's done fairly well. Finlaysonii, I told you where it was found, where it was native to. It was first published in 1834 in the Contributions to the Botany of India by Robert White. And yeah, this is done really well. I like this. It's just a good old finlaysonii, That's just very cool. Can't tell you where this one came from, but it's been here for a while, and this is Hoya finlaysonii. The next one that's been here for 4 years is my Hoya gracilis. Now, Hoya gracilis is native to Sulawesi in Indonesia. It was first published in 1908 in the Botanische Jahrbuch für Systematik, Pflanzengeschichte und Pflanzengeographie by Friedrich Richard Rudolf Schlechter. And the name gracilis comes from the Latin meaning slender. There's a whole discussion about gracilis and memoria. And after I purchased this plant, I heard from a reliable source that what is primarily sold in the US is actually Hoya memoria, and it had been misidentified. And then I read from another source that no, actually, Hoya memoria and Hoya gracilis are two separate species, and they are recognized as two separate species originating in two different locations by Kew Gardens and their database. So I switched my tag back to gracilis. That's where I'm leaving it for right now. You can tell the difference between the two plants, I am told, by a microscopic examination of the blossoms. And I haven't done there yet, haven't gone there. Somebody will let me know at some point. I'll get a memo from the front office. This is a gorgeous plant. There's a little bit of splash on the leaves. The leaves are firm, bordering on rigid, slightly recessed central vein, raised veins, scalloped edges. This one I have had to cut many times because it's just gotten too long. It has bloomed for me, and I should have pictures over on the side here of what the blooms look like. It has done very, very well. I mean, that's a good, healthy looking Hoya right there. It grows fairly close, maybe 30 centimeters, 12 inches below the grow light. So it's getting fairly bright light. There's a little bit of sun stressing on the edges, but for the most part, it seems fine with that. Yeah, this is done really well. If you like it, just nice waterfall of green leaves with a little bit of splash in them. Yeah, this is a really good choice. Been very happy with this plant. It's done very well for me. It's growing in a generic pond and a self-watering pot, hanging self-watering pot. So it's on some of the gridding in one of my grow shelf setups. That's done very well there. Like this plant a lot. It's been no trauma, no drama, no issues, and it blooms. So yeah, very cool. This one came from Peckham's in Little Compton, Rhode Island, and this is Hoya gracilis. And the next little beast has been here for 4 years too, and that is my Hoya multiflora. Now, Hoya multiflora is native to Bangladesh, Cambodia, South Central and Southeast China, Assam in India, Borneo, Java, Papua, Sulawesi, and Sumatra in Indonesia, to Laos, to Malaya, Sabah, and Sarawak in Malaysia, to Myanmar, the Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. And it was first published in 1823 and I apologize to those people who actually speak Dutch. I'm going to try and wing it. So, Catalogus van einiger der merkwaardig zo in als Wittemse gewassen te vinden in Slaans Plantentum te Buitenzorg, which is a catalog of some of the most remarkable zoo internal and exotic plants to be found in the National Botanical Garden at Buitenzorg. And it was published by Carl Ludwig von Blume. Now, this is famous for those gorgeous blossoms. But this thing is a monster of a plant. Each one of these two branches are easily 36 inches or 90 centimeters long. There's a new branch coming in here. I got to be careful with this because it's heavy. The leaves are nothing fancy. They come in with a little bit of rippling, but they will smooth out a bit as time goes by. Unlike me, I started out fairly smooth and then the wrinkling came later. But it's done very well for me. I thought that I was going to kill this plant when I first got it. I'm going to set it down for a little bit. I ordered it in December, and so it's been here for a bit. It did really well. It didn't settle in terribly well. It took it a while, but it survived the travel. Maybe it wasn't December. It would have had to have been October because that's when I put it in. But it was cold. It was probably late October and it had gotten cold because I was very worried about it traveling in that temperature. Temperature didn't seem to faze it. I settled it in. It didn't need much acclimation. It seemed ready to go. So when I started moving plants to pond and self-watering, this is one of the ones I went with. It's not in a wick-based pot. It is in pond and has done very well. It because it's got the dark leaves, I grow it in the fallout on the side next to one of my grow shelves. And it's near my southeast facing window, so it gets a little bit of fallout light and it gets some early morning gentle light through the southeast facing window. And it seems to like all that. It's just such a big plant. It's done so well. Right now it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 peduncles. Only one of them is in bloom right now. And of course, I've got lots of pictures of multiflora blossoms, and I'll put some close-ups over here. I even consider this to be a beginner Hoya. For me, it's been no trouble, no trauma, no drama. Once it got established, it grows fairly steadily as long as I keep up my end of the deal. Because the leaves are somewhat flexible, it doesn't hold much moisture in the leaves, so it does want a steady supply of moisture in the self-watering pot. And if it doesn't get it, it blasts the buds happily. And those of you who grow multiflora will know that it'll blast the buds. You know, it's like, oh yeah, not enough to drink? Gone. See, they'll be back. Don't get traumatized if it's blasting the buds. If it does it regularly, like all the time, then you might want to look at your light or your watering. But for me, this one is just a monster. I'm going to have to figure out something to raise it up a bit because it's taking up too much horizontal real estate right now. So yeah, it's just done. Whoops, get back in there. Get in there. Come on. Oh, now you're going to argue with me. We have company. Don't argue with me in front of company. Okay? Oof. Normally I wouldn't bother with this, but I don't want to run the risk of snapping that stem. So there we go. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we're going to do something about it. Okay? All right, good. This one has just done really well. And you get that. So yeah, it's very, very cool. I like multiflora. It's done well for me. This one made me brave enough to try Loki and Lobi and Decipule and amicabilis. So yeah, don't be frightened by this one. It's a trooper. It's done well for me. This one came from Wishlist Planned Treasures on Etsy, and this little monster is Hoya multiflora. The question for the comments. And before we get to it, I want to say thank you to everyone who took the time to respond to last week's question and last week's video. Your comments and the kind words, the multitude of kind words from y'all really made my day. I was a little nervous that people were going to get upset and offended by some of the things I had to say, but most of you were just right there with me and got it. So yeah, I really, really appreciate hearing that from you all. It means a lot. Now, the question for the comments this week is, what are you rooting? And if you've got like 40 or 50, don't list every one, but what are you rooting right now? I've got most of the things that I had rooting, I have moved into their long-term care facilities. But right now I have a cutting of Hoya sipitongensis that I'm hoping will get started. The mother plant didn't look its best of late, and so I took an insurance cutting just to see what's going on there. But yeah, let me know what you're rooting for. And as always, I want to thank you for choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me this week's end. Please remember to click the thumbs up like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. All three of those things really help my channel grow. A lot of the products that you've seen me use are available in my Amazon storefront, and there's a link in the description. I receive a small commission on the sale of things from the storefront. It helps support the channel, and it doesn't increase your price whatsoever. If you're in the market for grow lights, there's a link in the description to the Sansi Grow Lights website. And if you use my code, PlantedInRI, you'll receive a 30% discount from the prices you find there. Sansi recently contacted me and said that they had a new light that they wanted me to try out, so I just received it the other day. It's a vertical grow light. I'm impressed right out of the box, but I want to try it for a couple weeks and see what I think before I let you know. If you'd like to support the channel directly, there's a link in the description to my Buy Me a Coffee page, or there's a thanks button down here that's managed by YouTube, and they take care of all the processing and stuff like that. I'm going to put links to a couple more videos on the side here, and please enjoy the rest of your week's end.